Welcome to Billy Watson TV. It gives me great pleasure to welcome back Alison Curry to talk about her various healing methods she uses, like sound healing and Reiki, and about the retreats she runs to help people feel better using sacred medicine called cacao. Welcome to the show, Alison.
Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Billy Watson TV. As you heard in a little introduction there, I've got Alison Curry back on. We talked a couple of years ago about our various services, and I've been keeping tracks on what she's been doing on Facebook, including buying a wee camper van, it seems, and travelling around. So we'll maybe talk about that and the various things that's different services she offers on our website. So first of all, welcome to the show, Alison. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you, Billy. I'm doing good, thank you, and thank you for inviting me on.
No worries. Again, I was seeing the different things you offer, and we'll get to it in a wee while, but I noticed the cacao retreat, and we'll talk about that. That's one in particular that kind of intrigues me to find out what that's all about.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll just let people see, you kind of call yourself River Healer, and you've got a website here. I'll bring this up a wee bit. So it's a bit about you there. You're a Reiki master, and you're a strong lineage 5 steps away from the man who developed Reiki, Mikao Usui. Would you like to explain what that is?
Mikao Usui, yeah, he's the chap who developed Reiki. Well, the symbols, he was in meditation, he was a monk, and the symbols that are used in Reiki were given to him. So Reiki is a form of healing, energy healing. But it's, anybody can heal energy, life force energies all around us. You don't necessarily need the symbols. The symbols help. They're like keys that open the channels for the healing energy to focus the healing energy.
How do you use these symbols?
Sorry?
I mean, how do you use the symbols?
You use the symbols on the person, on your own palm chakras, because the energy is directed from the palm of the healer to
so you draw the symbol on your palm?
Sort of, yeah.
Right, okay. Mm-hmm.
Aye.
And basically the healing, like I've had a couple of Reiki healing sessions. One of them was a bit bizarre. I was at the Salisbury Centre. You probably heard of that in Edinburgh.
Oh yeah, I used to base myself there when I first started. Yeah.
Right. And I was lying down on the bed, and the guy's doing some Reiki over me. And then he said there's something in my stomach, and he kind of done this thing where he seemed to pull something out of my stomach, and actually it felt very physical.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself after, was that actually a good thing? I don't know. But basically, yeah, it was quite bizarre that. Would you like to have a stab at what do you think was going on there?
Well, that's basically been a block of negative energy that it's called psychic surgery.
Right, yeah.
Because it's in your energy field, and it's something that you do at Reiki level 3 at the master level. And it's basically, you think of the word emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. So every time we feel a negative emotion, that energy is alive and it attaches to our energy field. And if we don't let it go, if we hold on to it, then and the more we feel it, the more we get that tension, that negative emotion. The more we nurture it, if you like, we almost feed it. It's like we're feeding it, and it grows and grows, and it becomes an attachment of our auric body. And it can then affect the physical body with pain or dis-ease. And so what this healer's been doing with you is you've had that negative energy attached to your stomach, and he's cleared it away, and you felt it on a physical level because it is very strong, Yeah. So that's what negative attachments are. It's our own emotions, energy and emotion that we haven't let go of. When you think of a child, like a 3 or 4 year old child, they'll get angry, they'll get upset, and they'll have a big tantrum, and they'll scream and cry. And the next minute they're laughing because it's gone, it's forgotten. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But as adults, we hang on to it, and we hang on to it, and we don't deal with it. And so this is what happens. And that's how the healing works, because it clears it all away.
So that's like why sometimes it's probably good to forgive, because the other person's not feeling this, but where there's resentment building up in you, and it can lead to alcoholism, I guess, and those kind of things if you don't heal properly.
Absolutely. Well, as in the words of the Buddha, holding on to anger is like holding a hot coal. You're the one that's getting burned,
Yeah.
You're hurting yourself. So it's really important to let go of our emotions and to feel them. There's a lot in the so-called spiritual community. I hate that terminology, but a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, you've got to stay positive, think good thoughts, and all this." Well, yeah, of course, I advocate that. Think you've got to, your thoughts are energy. However, we also have to acknowledge the darkness, because we've all got it. We've all got it, and there's, yin and yang and dark. And you cannot be all love and light and not acknowledge your shadows, because we've all got shadows.
Yeah.
And anybody out there who says they haven't, who says they're all love and light and they've got no dark side, they are very dangerous people. I wouldn't want to know them. There's too many of them out there just now that are claiming that, and that's false. Totally, totally false. Yin and yang, light and dark, we've all got shadows.
So what would the shadow be? What would you describe as the shadow, and how would you address that?
Well, your dark side, your pent-up emotions, your negative emotions, your traumas, your dark thoughts, anger towards somebody and stuff like that. That's all your demons.
It's just why, like, a comedian who can talk about the things that nobody else talks about is actually doing a service, because it's letting people recognise themselves in the comedian, and then to be able to laugh and let that go, to say, "Oh, I'm not alone. I have these dark thoughts too," kind of thing.
Aye, I would say so.
Yeah, it's basically not allowed these days, isn't it? Because comedians are getting shut down and not allowed to offend anybody. So it's a big role of them kind of.
It's gone too far.
Yeah, all the woke stuff. So would you describe an attachment as being like a demon, or is that something different?
Well, this is the thing, you see, because the longer it hangs around you and the more you feel that emotion, like say somebody's angry all the time and they're constantly angry and they're aggressive and they're, the kind of person, they're always like on the defensive, got their back up, and that anger, it grows and it grows and it grows. It actually becomes a living entity.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And it can attach itself to other people, bits of it. It can separate and mutate. It's a living energy form. It's a form.
Right.
It's almost alive. And so, people come to me for healing, and sometimes they've got attachments that they're not necessarily theirs.
Yeah.
They come up from somebody else, because your aura stretches quite far. It stretches for as far as it depends on your mood. And so somebody's, you could be passing somebody or sitting beside somebody, and a wee bit of their stuff can attach to you. It's like dust. Right. It's like dust. It's in the air. It's in the ether. It's all around, And the healer, at master level, and see now, just to point out before anybody jumps ahead up and down about the master title, it's not about being better than anybody else. It's called there's 4 levels of Reiki. There's level 1, which teaches people to heal themselves and their family. There's level 2, which enables people to heal members of the public and practice as a professional. And then level 3, which is the master healer. And then level 4, which is a teacher. And I teach, as you know. And the reason it's called master is because, and the reason it's done in levels, it's not about making money. People think, you've got to do one, no, it's not about that. It's because level 1 is about healing yourself and family and friends, because you have to heal yourself before you can heal others.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that doesn't mean that you're healed. I've been doing this work for 60, I've been in business nearly 17 years. I'm not healed. I'll never be healed. Nobody's ever healed. Anybody who says to you that they're fully healed, they're a liar. Because it's a continuous journey. I still go for healing. I'm not perfect. I'm not healed by any manner of means. I've still got, dark stuff going on. So level 1 is about healing yourself, because you have to, as I say, do for yourself before you can do for others. Then level 2 is about then taking it out and practicing to others. Level 3 is called master because by the time you get to level 3, you have mastered it. It's an art. You've mastered it. Just like you get master craftsmen, master carpenters, master stonemasons, you know, that's why it's called master. It's not because you're any better than anybody else. So I just want to put that out there right away because I used to have issues with the title before I realised what it was all about. Yeah.
Well, they say to be a kind of master of something, you have to do 10,000 hours of, you know, whatever kind of practice at it, and, you know, it's time.
Well, that's it. It's a way. It becomes a way of life. So basically, removing negative attachments is something that a Reiki master does. You know, you wouldn't do it at level 1 or level 2.
Right.
You do that at level 3.
I actually went for some shamanic healing recently. I don't know. You've probably heard of this, though. I mean, there's different types of shamanic healing.
I'm studying it just now, Billy. Carry on.
Well, there's some that obviously use psychoactives and some that are done through sound or dance and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I took some 5-MeO, basically DMT, which is the toad. And the second time I'd done it, it was quite bizarre because I was like, I started breathing like that. And then just like, I couldn't stop. I was like, and then I felt like I was breathing something out of me. Like, you know, seen in some, like the Green Mile or something like that. I think Tom Hanks, that guy's like, it was like 50 minutes of pushing this thing out, and then I felt like I'd gone, you know. And I was like to the shaman, like, that was like an exorcism. And she says, oh yeah, but she didn't think too much of it. But then a few days later, she's like, there's this dark entity in my house that it took the female dark entity. It took me 3 days to get out of my house. So she doesn't want to do them indoor anymore because I guess they can exist in the field. But that she told me there was like an entity attachment, you know, and I did feel much lighter after that. But it was strange that you're saying that you can pick them up of other people because, again, how do you protect yourself against that then? Because there's everyone, you know, there's so many people got dark energies floating around them. So what's these things you've got?
Crystals. I've always got my crystals on for protection. And you can also, if you're going into a busy place, you can visualize white light around yourself, like a shield of white light or gold light. Yeah, wear crystals.
How do they work?
Sage yourself when you get home. You get the sage out, or Palo Santo, all these things used for cleansing.
Right. So do you know how they work, or it's just one of these things that, because there's different crystals do different things, do they not?
They do, yeah, but most of them repel negative energy as well. But you're right, they all do different things in terms of healing. The ones I wear an obsidian, also known as dragon glass, because that's good for repelling negative energy. Shungite, smoky quartz, and this is like a what they called orgone, because it's malachite and it's shungite and it's got the copper and everything around it, so it protects from like EMFs as well, Wi-Fi and stuff as well.
Because recently I've been looking at chemtrails, and some people say that organite in a small pyramid kind of can stop chemtrails, and I don't know if we'll go that far, but then I interviewed Matt Landman, and he was saying, oh, that's bullshit, but then other people say organite is like a life energy. So it's maybe not for chemtrails, but do you think it helps for EMS, for Wi-Fi and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I've got the organite pyramids up beside my Wi-Fi because it absorbs the EMF radiation,
right?
And fires it back, absorbs it. So although I only have my Wi-Fi on when I'm using it. I don't have it on all the time. Yeah,
because basically that's another thing that's quite disturbing in people's electric fields these days.
Billy, you wouldn't believe the amount of people come to me for healing and they can't sleep or they're getting ringing in their ears and all this. And I say to them, do you switch your Wi-Fi off at night? No. And they look at you like you're daft, like, well, why would I? And I say to them, well, think about it. You put your phone on, you put your laptop on, boom, it's on. So obviously it's going through the ether. So it's all around you, right?
Yeah.
Obviously it's going through your body. I mean, come on, obviously it is. It's common sense. It's going through your body. If it's in the air, it's in the ether. It's your phone's picking it up, your laptop's picking it up, your tablet and whatever else.
Yeah.
Well, of course you're going to switch off at night. I just don't get why people don't.
I went on a trip. I think you've seen some videos recently of in Scotland, and we went, one night in particular, we went beside this loch, and it was almost like the silence, because we were the only people there. The silence was deafening. And then when we came back and just lying in bed, even you think you could hear the electricity. It was just like, the difference is like, but you get used to it in the house. But yeah, it's all around us. And I went through an airport recently, and there was these new scanning machines that they've got. Now, the old ones are more of an X-ray, but I just don't like playing the game or whatever. So I said to the person, "No, I don't want to go through it." And big security comes and they try and talk you into it, and basically you feel a bit pressured. So I didn't have anything to back up my argument. So I said, "Right, I'll go through it this time, but I'll research it." So they gave me this name of the particular body scanners that they're using in these airports. And apparently it's very low millimeter waves. She says it's almost like your mobile phone that gives off more. And it probably does, to be fair, but do you think that that's a good idea to go through them? If you're going through an airport, would you go through them, or would you?
Well, I've had to, because, I've beeped and I've had to go through the thing, and I don't like it. I really don't like it.
Aye. Again,
and of course, I've got to take these off.
Yeah. Aye.
No, I don't like it. And it's not like I can burn my sage afterwards either. I've got to wait till, God knows how long. I know, I don't like
I've got no there saying try not to go through the scanners. Again, I've done a wee bit of research while I was waiting for the plane, and they did seem to say that, well, as far as when you go on Google, you're getting disinformation anyway, so they're saying, oh, they're not that bad, blah, blah, blah. But I would like to see a proper report about them. But again, we know that all these things aren't good, and again, the 5G towers that are up everywhere, that seemed essential during the lockdown for them to put up. You just wonder what kind of nefarious things they've got. And then you've got these light bulbs these days that I can't buy an old light bulb. I can't find them anywhere because I've got these new. There's even everywhere Tesco and that. Oh, these are the new modern ones, and it's like no, but they pulse. If you put them in slow motion, so that pulsing's not good. And I think there's something else I was going to say. But we're getting attacked on all levels. So again, it's probably quite important to learn how to do these things with the sage and clean out your energy.
Absolutely.
So on your website, you've got some services. I'll just bring this up that you do. So you do Reiki healing. And you've got this one, sound healing.
Yeah.
Different things that you use for sound healing, gongs and various other things. Would you like to talk about them? I think you've got one or two on you there.
Sure. I I was planning to retire this year, and last year I ended up completing the sound healing training with Kim Hanlon in Lennox Town, and give Kim a mention. I don't know if she's watching. And with I'd already had a couple of small Tibetan bowls that I used to use with my sessions anyway, and the drumming. I've always been a drummer. I used to have Benji drums and bongo. I don't know if you remember the Bongo Club in New Street.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
On a Monday night, I used to go to a drumming sessions with the bongo drums and the Benji drum. I had a big Benji drum.
Right.
I used to go there on a Monday night with my friends. So I've always loved my drums.
I thought it was just a big reggae night and a Friday night. I didn't know it was an actual bongo club.
So last year, about a year ago, it was April last year, I made my own drum. I birthed this beautiful drum.
Wow.
Hear that vibration?
All right.
Guitar out, Billy, we'll have a jam.
That sounds good, eh?
Anyway,
how did you make that? At the workshop? A workshop or something?
It's a lovely guy in Cooper in Fife at Falkland Estate by the name of Martin Watson.
Right.
He has drum birthing workshops up there on Falkland Estate.
Right.
And he's very knowledgeable, and he's great to work with. He really knows his stuff. And he was brought up on the estate, so he knows it like the back of his hand. He takes you for a wee walk round through the woods and round the estate as well while you're there. And so what you do is he has his animal skins and the wood. And now, first of all, the animal isn't killed for its skin. No animal is killed, because I used to have issues with this, you see. I got around it. No animal is killed for its skin. So what you're doing is, the skin would have just been chucked anyway, so you're giving it new life, basically. Right. And everything's energy. So, you know, and you're birthing the drum, you pick your skin. This is an elk. I picked an elk.
You know which animal it came from, yeah.
Yeah, I chose the elk. I felt I wanted elk. I've got a goat one as well that Martin made. I've got the 2 drums.
I think they must process them somehow to get them to be like that. You must dip them in.
Well, you pick your skin, and then there's a beautiful pond on the estate, and you go and you place your skin in the pond.
Right.
And then Martin takes you for a beautiful walk and everything, and you have a nice lunch, and you come back and you do like a little ceremony that's what's called birthing your drum, to birth the skin. You take the skin out of the water, and like I Reiki'd my skin and connected with my skin and everything. And of course, so then because it's wet, you can stretch it, and so then you make the drum, and then leave it to dry, and then you've got your drum. Right. So if anybody wants to make their own drum, Martin Watson and Cooper.
You pull it tight, and when must take a bit of time to dry, so you just wait for it to dry, or?
Well, you take it away at the end, you leave it outside, and you make, you know, I made a beater as well. And then when you take it home, it's still that you have to leave it outside the next day, or just leave it another day or so to dry. Yeah.
And then it starts to go like that. So what does that drum do? Obviously, it's got the vibrations and, you know, sound.
The drumming tempo can alter your brainwave patterns, you know, and it induces a relaxed state of mind. It can induce altered states of consciousness. I go into trance with that drum.
Yeah. This is the first type of shamanism, the first instrument that, you know.
Absolutely. I'm studying shamanism with a shaman called Hawayo Takata. He's a great guy. So I'm doing the shamanic stuff just now as well. And I do go into trance with the drum. I've always been like that. It's fascinating because, the stuff that comes to me is just amazing. But yeah, so it puts you complete into an altered state of consciousness. But for healing, because I use it at my sound baths. I call it sound immersion. I don't like the word bath, but I start with the drum. I walk around the room. You know, everybody's lying on the floor.
You organise these workshops, basically.
Well, it's not a workshop. It's a sound immersion. People come and receive. It's like a group healing.
Right. Okay.
You know, so they're not participating. They're just lying, getting the healing.
Yeah.
And so I'll walk around with the drum at the start.
Actually, before I done that toad ceremony, that's what the shaman done as well. She done that drum, and you can feel it vibrating through you, and it does kind of calm you down a bit. And
I use it because I do the one-to-one healings as well for sound healing, and I always start with the drum. Yeah.
So this is a sound. People come for sound immersion. You have a group of people, and do you play bang bang bang, or is it just boom?
I walk around with it. I do the drum, and I do a shamanic blessing chant. Right. And then it gets faster and louder. I just go with how I feel.
Yeah.
And then I have a rain stick, and then I have the bowls. I'll tell you about the bowls.
Yeah.
The Tibetan, I use, you know, you get the crystal ones. Some people use the crystal ones, the more modern ones. I prefer the traditional Tibetan bowls. And I have currently 6. I need to get a 7th one because they tune to the chakras.
Right, okay.
And this one is my favourite. This is the heart chakra.
Right. And
I got my bowls. I'm going to give the guy a plug here because they're a brilliant shop. It's a shop in Peebles called the House of Gaia.
Uh-huh.
And the proprietor, Ian, and his wife, they go to Nepal and source the bowls from the actual maker of them.
Right.
And this bowl, Ian actually watched the man engraving it. He sent me the video of it being engraved.
Wow.
And it's just beautiful. I can let you hear it because the resonance is just takes a minute to.
Right. So you're saying that's tuned to the heart chakra?
Yeah. And the sustain just goes on and on for a long time. And just keeps going. It's beautiful. I love it.
When I used to do meditation, I used to go to these bells people used to ding together. And
tincture bells, yeah, I've got them as well. Yep.
So what's that doing again? Just making your energy kind of calm down a wee bit?
Yeah, it's the various, they're all the bowls, for example, all instruments are tuned to different frequencies.
Yeah.
And it works on the basis of resonance. When two objects of a similar vibration come together, they resonate with each other.
Yeah.
They match each other's vibration. So your body matches the vibration of the frequency. It's a bit like, the water experiments, the Japanese chap, Masaru Emoto.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it on YouTube. He does these water experiments where he freezes water. And before he freezes the water, if you talk to it in a negative way, if you're abusive to it and tell it you hate it and all the rest of it, it then produces broken, deformed, jaggy, horrible crystals when it freezes.
Yeah.
Because if you talk nicely to the water, tell it you love it, thank it, and all that kind of thing, it forms the most beautiful geometrical patterns. It's fascinating. And the body is 99% water, so it's responding to the sound. And what's also equally fascinating is that every sound has, every frequency has a different healing property. I've got this written down because I can't remember them off by heart. Like, for example, 5 to 8 hertz is what's known as solfeggio frequency, and
Right.
5 to 8 frequency actually heals and repairs DNA.
All right.
It's that powerful. 174 hertz relieves pain and alleviates stress. What's another one? 741 hertz stimulates the release of toxins from the body. 852 hertz relieves anxiety and depression. 396 hertz lifts your mood, removes the negative emotions and things like that. So there's loads of them. So like you could go into a music app like Spotify or Amazon Prime or whatever your music app you've got and just put in 5 to 8 hertz.
All right.
And you can listen to that frequency, solfeggio frequency. And it's very, very powerful. And it's also really good for people that can't sleep because it will send you to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of, well, you probably have, conspiracy music guru, guy called Alex Michael. He does some conspiracy music, but he's also got 2 CDs. He's working on the third one called True Solfeggio, and it's instrumental music. And basically, he gets so many good reports of people listening to that and healing from various things, which is making them want to do it more because it's cool. Because a lot of, obviously, the modern music we hear is punk or jaggy, and it's not designed for healers, you know what I mean? But again, the cathedrals of old, some people would say they had a different purpose. There was a lady that just recorded the silence in different cathedrals and then just magnified that silent sound up somehow and then put it on those vibrating plates. And the pattern that formed on the vibrating plate matched the shape of the windows in each cathedral.
Wow.
So again, the organs, sound healing your organs. So
absolutely. Yeah, churches were originally built as healing centres. Yeah. That's what they were. They weren't built to be churches. They were built to be healing centres, which, as you quite rightly say, is why it's called an organ. And again, the organ had the different frequencies.
Yeah.
And the bells as well, the church bells.
Exactly, yeah.
Like you said earlier about the bells, they have a...
Well, there's a huge conspiracy again. Why is all these church bells missing? In the war, they took a lot of them away and said it was to make weapons or something like that. But some people think it was to keep, they said, demons or whatever negative entities away. When that bell's chiming all the time, then they have to scarper. So the fact there's no, all around the country, these church bells aren't getting heard anymore, probably means there's more demonic entities flying around. Or stuff like that, So again, they were used for healing, and there's a reason why they're not there anymore. So again, people like yourself, do these bowls, do they go to different hertz and do these things?
Because they resonate. They're tuned to the different chakras. So they've got the different. Don't ask me what all the different hertz for each chakra is, because I haven't got them off by heart. You catch me out there.
All right. We've also got. I'll just show this quickly. We've got this thing here. Can I press play there? Yeah.
Oh, my gong! I love my gong.
So that's like the start of some Japanese show always had back in the day. I forget the name of it. It was like a start of a TV show like that. But yeah, why did you get a gong? And is that part of your ceremonies as well that you use that?
Oh yeah, use the gong. The gong's amazing. It reduces stress, it lowers cortisol, quietens the mind, relieves tension, emotional healing, very powerful emotional healing.
So I've seen a couple of your Facebook videos where you say you love your gongs. Do you sit and just bang them in the house at night? Just with your neighbours like got this drumming and gongs.
I've got great neighbours. I haven't got anybody attached to either side, but I've got somebody just above me. But they're great. They don't really. The gong doesn't really go through. I think the drum probably does, but the gong doesn't. And again, I got the gong from House of Gaia. It's great. I love it. To be honest, Billy, if I had a bigger house, I could happily have a room full of gongs. I'd love to get another one, but I have to stop with one. I can't.
So is that like you're doing these gongs and you're feeling therefore the resonance of them? So you're feeling better after you do it. It's almost like
I swear. I mean, I've always been in good health anyway. But I swear I've had a lot more energy since I've started working with the sounds. Seriously.
Right.
And I'll sleep a lot better than I used to as well. So.
Right. So that was you going to retire a couple of years ago. Did you mean retire from your shamanic work or your healing work?
From the healing work, But I'm not going to now, not anytime soon. But what would I do? I'd get bored. What would I do?
Yeah. Well, you do write poetry as well, don't you? You've released a book of poetry.
Yeah.
So you're quite a creative person.
I've kind of let that slide lately. The inspiration hasn't really been there. I did do a wee bit last year, but yeah.
I'll come back when the time's right. You mentioned the rain stick as well. What's that?
Well, it's a stick with little bits of pebbles, tiny pebbles, or cactus. Bits of cactus is used in it as well. And when you tilt it, it makes a sound like rain.
All right.
I should have brought it through there. I'd have to go and get it. I don't want to. But it just sounds like rain basically. And I've got an ocean drum as well. That sounds like the sea, like the waves.
Right.
And on the gong, what I do is there's a wee thing called a flume that Ian actually showed me this in House of Gaia. It's a wee stick called a flume that you slide it around the gong. It's on that video, but maybe take you a while to find it. You slide it on the gong and it sounds like a whale sound.
Right.
So what I do in my sound immersions is I do the whale sound and then I get the ocean drum out and I do the sea.
Right.
And then I blend it because when you put the drum down, it still makes the noise. So as I'm putting it down, I'm doing the whale again.
Yeah.
So you're getting the combination of the sea and the whale sound, and it's beautiful. It's nice.
Wow. Some people say, but whales have got a special purpose on the planet. And I guess part of it's the noise that they make.
Absolutely. The communication's really powerful. And dolphins as well. Yeah.
There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye, People just take the world at face value and don't realise the interconnectedness of it all and how we all, it's just amazing, isn't it? People don't think there's a God or a creator, but
absolutely. There has to be. Oh, definitely. And nature's just amazing. When you study nature and you get into nature and blend with nature, it's just fascinating.
When you're talking about going for a walk in the woods with that guy there, again, that's something else that we're not doing. We're sitting in the Wi-Fi fields. But again, when I went to that loch of the Tour of Scotland and you get to nature, that in itself is very healing. And again, essential for us to kind of reclaim our humanity, because we're turning into robots almost, it would seem.
Absolutely. And it's lovely that people are being more aware of that nowadays. I mean, I've always been a tree hugger, and people used to laugh at me, you know, being a tree hugger and being barefoot. I've been going barefoot since I was a teenager, you know. But now everybody's doing it, you know, and everybody's understanding it, you know.
Yeah, because science backs up, because people come up with the scientific reasons why it does it. So, it must be true, you know, but instead of using their emotions to just recognize it ourselves. But certainly when you walk on grass, there's a chemical thing going on there.
Oh, aye.
That, again, even just the grounding of discharging your negative energy or grounding your energy, your shoes don't allow that with the rubber in the bottom of the shoes.
We're the only beings on earth that wear shoes. You know, there's no animals or any nature, any other living creatures that wear shoes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So there's something else you've been doing recently as well. You've been doing retreats for something, as I said at the start of the show, I was going to ask you about this cacao.
Cacao.
Cacao, is it, right? Because I've seen a video, there's some postman was on Dragon's Den, and I think Gary Neville and some others said backed them to go ahead and it was say again, cacao.
Cacao.
Yeah, cacao. Business. So yeah, I was quite intrigued with that when I seen you doing it. How did you discover that, and what does that do? Right,
well, I'm just going to say a quick hello to Louise, my daughter, because she's just popped up there and said hello. Yeah, cacao is basically it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. The ancient Mayans, the Mayan civilization, used it as a tribute to the gods. It was considered food of the gods. And what cacao is the raw bean that cocoa and chocolate are made from.
Right.
But it's the raw bean, because what happens is when they make cocoa is they boil the cacao extensively.
Yeah.
And all that boiling of it and the heating of it takes away all the goodness out of it, which I'll tell you about in a wee minute.
Yeah.
So cacao is the raw bean, and it's then mass processed to make cocoa, and then it's processed even more to make chocolate, and loses all the benefits.
Yeah.
Because what cacao has in it, it has a thing called I can never say it, theobromine. Right. Theobromine, and what that does, that is what's known as the food of the gods. And theobromine enhances psychoactive visions. It's not a psychedelic, psychoactive. It boosts your heart health. It stimulates the blood vessels. It enhances your mood, stimulates the brain. It's a diuretic, which means it eliminates toxins from the body, you know, it makes you pee. Improves your memory, improves your blood flow, stabilizes your mood. It helps with hyperactivity. And cacao also contains tyramine, which stabilizes blood pressure. It's full of magnesium. It's very rich in magnesium. It helps you sleep because it regulates the melatonin and the serotonin. That's how it helps you sleep. Not because you should drink it at bedtime, because a friend of mine, I told her it helped with sleep, bless her, and she drank it at bedtime and she was up all bloody night because it's a stimulant. It keeps you up. It's like caffeine.
Right, okay.
But the reason it helps you sleep is because it regulates the melatonin and the serotonin.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't really drink it after 2 o'clock in the day because it will keep you awake,
okay.
If you understand me.
Uh-huh.
So, and it also regulates the liver, and it enhances feelings of well-being. You know, it makes you feel good. It's a stimulant. It's a bit like caffeine. It boosts you, it lifts you.
Yeah.
Physically, it's good for the heart health because it stimulates the flow of blood to the heart. And it regulates blood pressure, stabilizes your blood pressure, and cholesterol. So it's really good for the heart physically as well. Taken in the whole ceremony, now I don't like the word ceremony. I use the word, you probably noticed, I use the word communion. I call it cacao communion because the cacao bean, the cacao plant itself, as I said, it was used by the Mayans for, you know, and indigenous tribes, you know, hundreds of thousands of years ago. because traditionally it's a sacred plant. Plant medicine is very powerful, as you'll know. And all plants, spirit is sacred. You know, plants have spirit, just the same as we do, just the same as animal. Everything has spirit.
Yeah.
And so what you are doing in a cacao communion is you are thanking the spirit of the cacao for the healing that she is bringing to you. You know, she's a powerful medicine and she's bringing you healing. And so you're thanking her for that. So it's like a blessing to the cacao, to the spirit of cacao. Because what cacao does when you drink it at a ceremonial dose, now it's called a ceremonial dose because when you are using cacao, like I was on Saturday for a healing purpose, you're taking a higher dose. You're taking maybe 30 grams, maybe 40 grams. But if you're just having a cup of cacao at home during the day, you're only having 10, maybe 20 grams max. So the ceremonial dose, because it's even more effective on the brain and the mood and the heart chakra, it opens the heart chakra, emotions, it triggers emotion, basically. So the higher dose, we have a blessing and everything, and we follow it with meditation and heart healing, inner child work, cord cutting, which again is a Reiki master thing, is cutting negative cords away, you know, attachment to other people that are negative, not so good for us. So the cacao helps to facilitate all that because it opens the heart chakra. Mm-hmm. Sorry, was that a bit of a waffle?
No, I like it when you talk and get into stuff. It's good. I
tend to waffle sometimes. I know I'm
not. No, you're not waffling. I never interrupted you on purpose because I wanted you to waffle. So I was wanting to know how that went. And well, first of all, with regard to, like, I went to Turkey recently, and I never used to drink coffee all my life, and then I had a few small Turkish coffees. You know, the Turkish ones are quite strong.
Aye.
That kind of got me into coffee a wee bit, but still wasn't big in it. But my last visit, I was having double coffees 2-3 times a day, and some points my heart was going 10 a dozen, and then when I came back, I was still drinking these rubbish coffees you get in packets these days. I was drinking them, and I felt like I needed 5 or 6 of them a day. I said, I need to stop this coffee. And then I had about 3 days of like a detox. It was hell. I was like, oh my God, that's horrific. You know? And now I think I was away at Belfast the weekend and had some coffees in the room. So I was addicted for them for 3 or 4 days, but I was like, that's it, I'm not doing it again. I'm not going to buy any, you know. I'll maybe have a coffee here or there, but I feel like it's quite a negative thing. And I'm just wondering, you know, about this, if people kind of then start to depend on it, you know, if it can be a bad thing, or it's all good, you can drink as many as you like, or, you know, on a daily basis. What would you recommend for that?
What, the cacao?
Yeah.
I always err on the side of caution. Like I enjoy a cup of cacao, not a ceremonial dose, like 20 grams, 10, 20, but I don't drink it every day.
Right.
I drink it maybe every second or third day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drink it every day.
It's a stimulant, you know, so again, you talk about the plant's energy. You can abuse all these plants as well, you know.
Of course you can. Of course
people smoke hemp and think, oh, I'm just smoking joints, no bother. But again, you're abusing that. You're not taking it as a...
Absolutely. You can abuse anything that's, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's one aspect of it. And then when you've done the ceremony, like how many people were there? How long did the ceremony last? You said, I think it was a half-day retreat thing you done.
It was a half day, and sadly I had a couple of cancellations, so there was only 3 people plus myself.
Yeah.
But that was nice because it was a small group, and it actually went really well, and everybody seemed to get a lot out of it.
Was that your first one you've done?
It was the first one I'd done.
Did people, you talk about opening the heart, did they feel that? Did they...
Yeah.
Again, I'd done another shamanic retreat many years ago called Body Electronics, or all these different points were getting pushed. It was a 2-week process, and oh my God, they were screaming at ex-husbands and tears and all this stuff was coming out of people. Was it that kind of thing, or people get touched?
Nobody was screaming, but people had a wee cry and everything, which is good because, you know, you've maybe heard me say before, crying's good.
Yeah.
You know, as I was saying before about energy being emotion, you know, we've got all the grief and sadness is held in the heart chakra.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so many people, you know, you have so many heart disease and heart attacks and things, because they're holding on to this grief and sadness, because we don't cry, because we're brought up, you know, laughter is the best medicine, and laugh every day. And if you cry, oh, shush, you'll be all right, stop crying. And as adults, we can't deal with people crying, and we're patting people on the back and we're saying, oh, you'll be all right, it'll be fine. You know, no, cry.
Yeah.
Cry, let it out, cry. It's good to cry, because tears, I don't know if you know this, but your tears actually contain toxins.
That's right, yeah.
So does snot. That's why colds and flu are the body's way of releasing toxins as well, because it all comes out in your tears and your snot and what have you, you know. So it's good.
You mean you can't catch a virus?
No.
But yeah, the first time I done the toad, I took a smaller, well, the woman was being cautious with me, so it was like quite a light 10 milligrams, whatever. But I felt as though like there was an egg, and I just felt this kind of crack, and there was like a raw nerve getting touched there, and I basically was crying, yeah. And she was saying, you know, you're holding so much in because you're trying to, well, be the dad or whatever, and be this person, go to work and do that and do that, and you're looking after everyone else. But this was an opportunity. It was actually quite weird as well. I was in this field, and as I was driving to it, all these cows were beside us, all started running beside the car, like really galloping. And then we sat down, and then they all were staring at this fence and all looking at us like that. And then after I took it, and it's like almost like, I don't know, you see cows in India are quite sacred, or they sense the heavy energy or whatever. And after I'd taken it and cried, whatever, they all kind of dissipated away, and the show was over. The woman was saying it's quite bizarre, but again, animals are quite sensitive to things that we don't see, like cats or whatever. If you're feeling bad, a cat will sometimes want you to stroke it for, you know, I guess that's an energy release there as well, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Cats are very spiritual, very healing animals, you know. Cat's purr has got a healing, you know, we're talking about sound and frequencies. The cat's purr is a healing frequency on its own right. And a cat knows when you're not well, and it'll come and curl up beside you and purr and knead on you, you know, that's it, healing you. And the reason cats sleep beside their owners as well is because they're absorbing the negative energy.
All right.
Cats do, they absorb people's negative energy from people. I think dogs do as well, you know, dogs do as well, all animals. Yep.
To me, it's like a cat also protects the house from negative spiritual entities, and maybe the dog's more like a physical protector, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting. So how much do you charge for these cacao retreats, and are you having another one anytime soon?
Well, I'm planning on having another one, but it's going to be slightly different because, as I said, Saturday was my first one, and I finished it off with a sound immersion.
Right.
So next time, I'm not going to do the sound immersion. I'm just going to finish off with the body movement and the drumming. So it'll not be as expensive. You know, it'll be £70 for that one. So it'll probably be, I don't know, £40, £50 thereabouts. So it'll be about 3 hours maybe.
Right.
Why are you deciding that? Sorry?
Why are you deciding that?
Well, the sound immersion as well, it was very labour intensive because all the stuff I had to take, not just the sound stuff, which I do every week for my sound immersion, but, you know, all the yoga mats, the cushions, the blankets, the cacao's quick stuff. And not only that, but the cacao was wearing off by the time we did the sound bath, and people were getting quite fidgety. And I'd had the movement and drumming before it, and I had cut that short because we were running out of time. And I think people needed to keep moving, and so we're struggling to maybe be still, and it just didn't really flow. Yeah. So I'm feeling to do it without the sound next time.
Yes.
Should come along next time then.
I think was it on a Sunday you done it?
It was a Saturday, but I'm actually going to do it on a Sunday next time because there was quite a few people did want to come, but they couldn't come because it was a Saturday. People are busy on a Saturday, I think, more.
Actually, I think I was needing money. I went to see Van Morrison there in Belfast, so that was the reason.
Oh, amazing.
That was good. That was brilliant. That was like a healing. I got the front row seat as well, so that was quite good.
Oh, amazing. That would have been amazing.
It was sensational. First night, it was queued up an hour early, and I got in the front row about 10 along to the side. So the second night, I queued up 2 hours early, and I got literally the best seat in the house, front and centre. And there was a guy,
Wow.
Glenn Hansard, he was in the Commitments, and he played at Shane McGowan's funeral, and he was sitting to the right of me, so I had to be chat with him.
Oh, wow.
Aye. That was amazing, but Van Morrison was, some people say he's a bit grumpy or whatever, but
Like
he's in a good mood, but his music was, the band were amazing, and he was amazing. It was just, even my girlfriend, who's not that big a fan, she was blown away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got tickets. I bought these tickets to go and see him in Belfast, and then after I got the flights and everything, then they announced 2 gigs in Scotland, and they went on sale at 9 o'clock, and literally there was no tickets immediately. I think the fans, the pre-sale, all the Glasgow ones went, and there was like 15 left for Edinburgh, and I got literally the last 2 tickets. So I'm going to see him at the end of the month of March in Edinburgh. So.
Oh, I didn't know I would have wanted to go and see him. Oh, no. Can you get me a ticket?
I can get you a ticket, actually. Well, there's some available in the black market, and there's a website called Via Gogo. You pay a little bit more for it, but there is tickets there. So
I want to go. I want to see him.
Happy day you could get for £100 there. I would say it's worth it. Like,
oh, Brown Eyed Girl was always my song. And you know, on my 40th birthday, I kept asking the DJ to play it every half. He was actually getting really annoyed with me because I kept asking him to play Brown Eyed Girl.
Well, I was in a bar, went to the Irish, after it for a couple of Guinness, because you've got to, haven't you? And there was a guy in the bar, so I went up to him and said, "Can you play a Van Morrison song?" That's what he played, Brown Eyed Girl. But yeah, he never played that in the night. He played there's a song called. No, I mean he's got many different ones, but he played this song called "Summertime in England," which the audience, as he was playing it, just there's bursts of applause throughout the song. Then it's finished, and everyone rose to their feet. It was like really something special.
Oh, brilliant!
Anyway, we're not here to talk about Van der Man. We're here to talk about yourself. But there's a few other things you've got on your website. You do tarot readings, intuitive guidance, and Indian head massage. Would you like to briefly go over what that?
Yeah, well, I love doing the tarot readings. I've been doing them for about 20 years now. It's fascinating. The tarot cards they're basically a tool because I'm quite. We're all psychic, by the way. It's not a gift. Nobody's special because they're psychic, But I use my psychic awareness, let's just say. And I do pick up on people's energies. People could come in and sit down and I get a vibe right away of what's going on for them, But the cards are a tool as well. And the cards, again, I've had my tarot deck for 24 years. 2020, I bought them. 2000.
Did you think you were psychic before that, or did you think you got these cards and then did you study the cards and then practice and then it's like a muscle building up?
Well, the psychic, your sixth sense, your intuition is like a muscle. I actually I do workshops. I do tarot and psychic development workshops as well.
All right.
Every so often, usually about every 2 years or so when there's demand. And I teach people to work, enhance their own intuition because, like I said to you, everybody's got it. We've all got 6 senses, but we've got it when we're born with 6 senses. Yeah. But education, media, society knocks the 6th one out of us, basically. Yeah. And the fluoride and all the rest of it calcifies the pineal gland. All this as well. So, yeah.
Your gut is like your gut energy. People say follow your gut. And that's like the second brain or something they call it because...
Absolutely.
Sensitive.
Absolutely. Or as my shaman teacher calls it, the body mind. And I say that to people as well. I say that to customers when they come for readings or guidance. I always say to people, follow your heart. You cannot go wrong because there are no mistakes in life. You think of that word, mistake, take 1, take 2. There's no mistakes. There's only lessons. So you follow your heart and it doesn't work out the way you expected it to work out. It was meant to be that way for a reason because there's a lesson there for you. Yeah. You haven't made a mistake. You've just had to get that lesson because that's what life's all about. It's about lessons. So anyway, I use the cards as a tool, but the cards are amazing. I've had that deck 25 years now. And I would never use another. I've got other decks. I've got other oracle decks as well. But there's something about like I said earlier, everything's energy.
Yeah.
And it takes the energy of the owner and so on. And my cards are almost alive. They're almost an energy in their own right, do you know? And they never fail to amaze me. Even my clients will come and they'll sit down, I'll lay the cards out, and I'll say blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, that's so right. That's so spot on. And that and that and that. And wow. And, you know, and it's just, aye.
So again, did you study each tarot card and then learn the meaning of them and then learn to interpret them, or do you just look at the pictures?
No, see, that's where I was going with the workshops. See, I do this, I go off on tangents. No, when I'm teaching the workshop, I tell people, get the base meaning of the card, yes, but use your intuition. Sorry, that's where I was going when I was starting to talk about the intuition. Use your intuition. What do you see in the picture? It's like, what was that program that used to be catchphrase? Say what you see. Look at the picture. Say what does that picture say to you? What do you feel from that picture? You know? And put that around the base meaning, and also how the cards are together, which card's next to which. They tell a story.
Yeah, well, I was going to say there's different types of layouts, like the Celtic cross or whatever, and is that important? You know, when people are doing tarot cards, like
the layout, the spread.
The spread,
right. Yeah. I never used the Celtic cross. It just didn't resonate for me. I use a spread called the Romany spread.
Right.
An ancient spread that the Romanies use. That's what it's called, the Romany spread. It's quite rare. I don't think anybody else uses it. Right. It resonates for me. I love it. It's 15 cards.
Right.
And it's 3 cards for the present, 3 cards for the past, because the recent past, because it's relevant to where you are now. You know, you can't be in the present if you know had the past. And 3 cards about the person, 3 cards for the next 3 months, and 3 cards for the next 6 months. I never go past 6 months because you can't.
Yeah.
Things, the butterfly effect, things change, choices you make and what have you. Also, and I always say this to people as well, the cards don't predict, they don't tell you what's going to happen. They give you guidance and direction, you know. Right. And it's the choices you make that ultimately decide, you know, what happens at the end of the day. They don't tell you exactly what's going to happen. They give you guidance and direction. And so, I was doing tarot readings. And so then I ended up doing intuitive guidance because, as I say, I do pick up energies around people, and I do get gut feelings about what's right for people. And on a practical level, I am qualified. I've got the bits of paper. I'm a life coach. I'm qualified in psychotherapy and in counselling. And as you probably know this, I worked for 30 years in social work with addictions and mental health. So I've got a lot of experience in that way. And the intuitive guidance it was coming in a lot with the tarot reading and with the Reiki, because some people, they'll come for their Reiki and they'll go, they're quite happy. Some people want to sit because every disease has got an emotional root, yeah?
Yeah.
Medicine will kill the plant, but it won't get to the root, and so the plant just keeps growing. Yeah. So the way Reiki works, it gets to the root, and that's the emotional stuff, the traumas that the people have gone through. So some people like to sit after their Reiki, they've got 5 or 10 minutes, whatever, and they like to talk about that. That's fine. So what I started doing about 5 years ago was offering intuitive guidance as a session in its own right. It's a bit like counselling, but I don't like the word counselling. So people come for intuitive guidance, you know, and for whatever's going on in their life, whatever traumas they're trying to deal with, whatever changes they're trying to make. And I've never had to do more than 12 sessions, and I never would. That's what I dislike about counselling, because it's like going on and on and on. I don't encourage people to go on and on and on about all the negative stuff that's happened to them, because that's just dragging you down. That's just, no, obviously you need to get it out there, but then we'll deal with it and we'll get rid of it, you know. Yeah. And it's really powerful, and it's helped a lot of people, and I love doing it. I just love helping people. Like, I had a lass come to me a couple of years ago with a condition, a phobia. I think it's tachyphobia. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's basically a fear of childbirth. Right. So she came to me with this tachyphobia, and within a year she was pregnant. and she's now had a baby, you know.
Right.
So
And then she discovered why she was scared of it.
we got to the root of it. We got to the root of it.
I'm just joking because I know some people recently have had a baby and they're like, oh my God. Again, but these people, they're actually, you know, modern parenting these days is like you can't say no to a child and you can't do this, you know, they're telling them in school. But to me, that's not very much common sense because there's these little terrors getting, you know, it's not the child's fault. They need to learn wrong from right, but if they get told they can't do anything wrong, and you know, it's a whole different debate. But it's we get told how. I mean, I think there should even be classes on how to be a parent. You know.
Oh, aye, definitely, Billy. Absolutely, absolutely, and especially when we've not had good parents ourselves.
Yeah.
When we don't really know how to be good parents, and
this is it.
I've got a lot of regrets about how I brought my kids up. But I wish I knew then what I know now. I would have brought them up completely differently, and they certainly wouldn't have gone to school, you know. But anyway, you know, we live and learn. That's what life's about, eh? And there's no point ruminating on the past. We can only do our best from here on in.
That's right.
So,
again, they had to go through what they went through to find their way, and you know, shit happens.
Absolutely.
So you don't think, just on the tarot topic, just to kind of round up, I just wonder what you thought about the future. Like, if you're saying tarot's for guidance, you can't predict the future. Do you think we've got fate and the future is set in stone, or everything's up for grabs and it's what we do in the moment?
Good question. What I believe that we choose our life before we're born. You know, we choose our parents, we choose the childhood we want to experience, we choose all our experiences and stuff. However, I believe that there are certain points in our life where there is destiny. You know, certain things are destined to be, and there's nothing we can do to change them. But the remainder of it, which is the biggest part of our life, we do have control over. You know, we create our own reality. Every choice we make is creating our reality, you know, and I see that so clearly now. I remember the first time I was having a shit time 30 years ago or something, and somebody said to me, create your, and I was like, I created this right enough. And see, when I look back though, Billy, I did create it. I can see it now.
Yeah.
I can see it now, how I created it all with the choices I was making.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like feelings is we can choose how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody upsets us, they're not upsetting us. We're choosing to feel upset.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll have a bit of moan about somebody, but very quickly I'll say, oh, fuck right, what can you do with it? On we go, you know. But
absolutely. Aye.
Yeah, it's been great chatting to you. Is there anything you'd like to finish on? You know, your website's riverhealing.com. People can check out more of your services and stuff there and get in touch with you. And on Facebook, it's Alison Curry, where they can keep up to date.
Aye.
You make announcements of your next events on there.
Well, no, it's on my business page, River Healer. Facebook.
All right.
Facebook.com/River Healer.
Right, okay.
Aye.
Maybe that's why I never seen the cacao retreat when I was looking today, because I do see you do put up regular kind of almost daily tarot readings on River Healer as well, don't you?
I used to do daily oracle cards every day, but now I do one on a Sunday, a tarot card for the week. Right. And I do a midweek oracle on a Wednesday, and I do a weekend oracle on a Friday. It was just getting too much, Billy, doing it every single day. You know, it's a lot of work.
That's good. So people, River Healer on Facebook and riverhealer.com is your website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really good having you on again, Alison, and hopefully we'll catch up again in the flesh in a not too distant future.
I've not seen you for ages.
I met up at a couple of festivals, I think.
I don't know how I didn't bump up to you when you were doing your tour of Scotland when I was out and about in my van. I'm surprised we didn't run into each other.
Well, that was a wee while ago I'd done that.
Aye.
You know, a couple of years ago, but I've just published them all recently on Substack.
Right.
Well, yeah, that was quite good. But anyway, thanks very much for your time. I'm going to play a wee outro and I'll have a wee chat with you after that. Thanks everyone else for watching.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon. Cheers and out.